Greetings from London. This is Mariam Sharif, and welcome to the Star Moguls podcast. Today's guest is Dr. Amari from Dubai, and she is the Executive Director of the Art of Marriage and Family Therapy. Welcome, Dr. Amari.
Thank you, my dear Mariam, and thank you for having me today.
It's a pleasure.
Yes,
I know that we've had some time where we've tried to organize, but you are so tremendously busy with your work and your practice. Is there an art of marriage?
Yes, my dear, and thank you again. If you're gonna, the reason why, when I started my business, I called it Sigmund Freud.
Right. Okay.
Because I really like, he's the father of psychology, and he's the man behind a lot of theories and a lot of what is going on with the individuals psychologically. But then, I said to myself, such name could exist in a European or in America.
Yeah.
And then, yes, but in the Middle East and in Arabic or Islamic countries, there are some people who are a little bit against Sigmund Freud. And then I had to change it. And I am a person who likes art. I like art a lot.
Yeah.
And the way I look at life, sometimes I see like life is like an art.
Oh.
It's really like a piece of art. It can be, like anything you like. And then if you know how to appreciate and how to understand this piece of thing in front of you, then you will know, like, one day your life will be looking good, one day your life will be looking confusing, one day it will look like really amazing. You just have to look at life and relationships from a very, like a different way. And that's why I said, I have also a slogan on my website which says, art of living.
Yeah.
I always tell people, like, if you can just, because we are human beings.
Yes.
And sometimes we are surrounded by arts, especially people I studied in the US, and then I had trainings in Germany, in Europe, in Austria. And there is a lot of beauty around you. So that's why I said, why don't we mix this beauty with our life? So that's why I call it, like art of living and cure of family counseling. Because again, if you look at it as an art, you will start looking at things differently.
That's it. The perception. You've just introduced art, and I've actually just looked at it completely differently as well. I've just thought, okay, so looking at life as more of a masterpiece. And I always say when I'm styling as well. So, I always say that, you are masterpieces of your life as well. And you are pieces of art. I always say that as well. So how interesting is that? That's excellent. It's such a nice way of framing something that people would probably dismiss and probably not even realize that how we need to live as artists and as masterpieces.
Exactly. Like when I look at your background, it is so beautiful. It is like telling me, look at the life, the colorful picture, the mannequin stand, the plant, the color you are wearing. Like, this is what I mean. We are human beings,
yes,
and we are distinguished from animals. Animals, they can just live, and they cannot tell or enjoy the art in our life. So that's why sometimes I tell people it's just an art if you know how to do it, if you have the skills.
That
even
is
to run your
beautiful,
life.
Dr. Amari. That is just so nicely put. I've never heard of any counselor or therapist talk about it in such a profound and beautiful way. It's just set the tone. Thank you very much for the podcast, because the way that we need to live. So I'm in London. So in London, we are now going through this second lockdown phase. And it's very hard for some people to kind of, stomach it. We've done it the first time round, and we've got to know what Corona is. We've lived with COVID. We can accept it now. We're going through round 2, which is quite difficult for everybody. Has there been some aspect in this year that you've had to deal with more than any other year. Like during this year of COVID, are you seeing a pattern of certain people that are coming in to you to see you about certain problems? Is there something reoccurring this year?
Yes. So let me start by saying, definitely 2020 is this year is completely different than any other years we lived through.
Yes.
And I don't think this year will, inshallah, it doesn't come again, or we don't have to face such challenges in the upcoming years. So let's say I will start by saying when Corona started, I myself, like anybody else, like my main focus was on how to get through, what's
Yes.
going to happen,
Yeah.
where are we going. That was my fear, and I was outside of UAE, and I had to come back with in a rush.
Oh,
They had
wow.
to bring us back.
Okay.
Yes, they had
Yeah.
to bring us back to the country, and then I saw the fear in people's eyes and everything. But for myself as a public health professional and a mental health professional, for me, Corona, and sometimes I tell people, Corona is not necessarily a negative thing,
Yes. Yeah.
honestly speaking, because personally, I think I had the best Ramadan ever in my whole life I had
Yeah.
during this year
Mashallah. Yeah.
because, yes, because we were home, there is no stress, you do
Yes.
Taraweeh and you sleep, there is no obligations.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
even the fear of Corona decreased during Ramadan because we were more connected on a spiritual level.
Spiritual level. Yes.
Yes, but for me, I always say, sometimes I think, and some people might agree with me and some may not, I think we have to really thank Corona. We really, or thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for really, Corona was a wake up call for a lot of people. And
Yes.
it was also, it drove some people to the opposite direction. Some
Yes.
people went crazy, like crazier,
Yes. Yeah.
after the lockdown. They just wanted to compensate, wanted to live, wanted to do, and some people, they really reevaluated and reprioritized their lives. So
Yeah.
Corona, for me and for any professionals,
Professional. Yeah.
yes, I think we saw a positive side of
Yes.
Corona.
Mm.
And even for those who died, or those who lost loved ones, we always tell them they lived as shaheed, inshallah,
Mm.
because, yes, because I think, don't quote me on that, but I think religiously they died because of a disease, and then this is a good way of, like,
That's
not
right.
a good way. Yeah, but even that, I tell them every day. I tell people, Corona just reminded us death is around you.
Yes.
I am
Yes.
closer. Death is closer to you.
Yes.
But before, we were not reminded
We were
by this
taking
news.
advantage. I think we were just taking advantage of our life and everybody around us. I don't think we really valued relationships and ourselves and our work. And I think it's just the kind of that reset moment where we've had to do like this kind of biopsy of our own life and take account, really, isn't it?
Right. This is what I personally hope, that people, that they need to wake up, and then they need to see where they are, and we all gonna die, and then, but now you have a chance to uh, reassess, and you have a chance to redo things, and you have a chance of,
Yes.
fixing things in your life.
Yes, absolutely. Again, it's back to perception. I always say how I can change perception through style and um, visual aspects, and I think that you have to change also your perceptions in your mind and how you view life. What is it that's triggering you? What is it that it's so enormous that you can't handle? Um, and thank you so much for pointing that out. That definitely, I think there's a majority of us that think that it's a blessing. We've taken it account. Even though I was ill with COVID symptoms, I still thought, okay, you know what, that's given me a wake up call that Miriam, you need to start doing more with your health, and you need to take care of yourself, and maybe less of everybody else, because I'm guilty of one of those kind of um, people pleasing or helping people around me, and it's not out of it's just a default, it's just in my DNA, but it really made me think that I really must look after my health and my own priorities, so I think for everyone, they have their checklist and they've gone down through it and they've thought, okay, what do I need to do, what is priority, what is not. So yeah, it's definitely been a help for everyone. As we go into this second lockdown, and we've had numerous people talking about relationships ending, relationships beginning, what advice would you give to someone who is going through something in their relationship with their children or in their marriage? How would you assess people that are firstly looking at, there's two aspects, isn't there? People are probably healing and exiting, or people are healing and staying within the marriage. What advice would you give them whilst they're in the second lockdown?
Yes, my dear. As you put it, we have two type of peoples, and before Corona, life was very stressful by itself,
Yes.
and then we have struggles, and we have conflicts between each other, and then we see people and couples, they're coming to us, or the whole family, because they have issues, they are not happy, they need to resolve their issues. So for those who already have issues and conflict and stress in the relationship, what Corona came with its own complex type of
Yeah.
stress.
So accelerated
So
kind of the problems?
yes, so those who have, or they had problems before Corona, when Corona came,
Yeah.
their problems were still there, but it was, it was more clearer to them.
Mm.
And Corona forced them to face it.
Ah,
Like
yes.
now you have to sit and face it, especially if the couples or the family, they have to stay in one home. So
Mm.
this is what Corona did. Corona came with its own complexity, and then people already had issues. They
Yeah.
had, like now, if they come and enter and exit the relationship. When Corona came, there was no exit. You
Yeah.
have to face it. You have to deal with it, and it can be overwhelming. So
Absolutely.
for those who they already have problems, Corona added more stress to them.
Mm.
And for those who really had problems, we have two type of people. There is this type of people who Corona made their life more complicated, and this type of people who Corona made them get involved and face
Yeah.
their problems, and work on it. So we have
Yes.
two people, and those who could not work it out, and then those are the people who more likely choose to leave the relationship. And then we're talking about the toxic relationship,
Yes.
the seriously sick relationships. So what Corona did, it just helped them to make the exit if
Yes.
it was not helpful for them. For the other group, our hope as a mental health professional, that some people, Corona made them stronger together. And then they know for sure, this
Yeah.
is my life, this is my family, this is my wife. I want to work on it. So
Yes.
this is what it did to the people.
Dr. Amari, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and we were talking about the subject of therapy and counseling, and so I was talking to my male friend, and I feel that in the South Asian Arab community, still we are very reluctant to even accept or want to go for therapy. In the West, it's very common now, and everybody is seeking, especially this year. And I think mental awareness is much more apparent that you need to do something. But you know what was the first answer of this person that I was speaking to yesterday? Okay, Mariam, you know what? You can just pray to Allah and ask for guidance. And I was like,
Mm.
uh, yes, there's a taboo. B,
Yeah.
when you suggest something like this, they say pray it out, pray it all out, get some answers, sit with yourself. And I said to this person yesterday, I said, it doesn't always work out that way, because you don't know what's going inside your head. You need someone to guide you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I referred to as his boxing, because I said, look, you've got a coach for boxing, and he guides you, and he trains you, and he develops your muscles, and he develops your skill. The same way, you need someone to work at what's going on inside, because you might not be able to understand things from your past, or why you do certain things, or why there's patterns occurring. But it's very, very apparent that still, that majority of people from the South Asian Arab communities aren't willing to go for therapy. So how do you persuade someone that, like in a couple, and
Uh,
they
yeah.
how do you you don't really want to convince somebody anyway, but how would you make somebody more accepting or understand therapy? How would you explain it to somebody who's just not wanting to even acknowledge?
Yeah, my dear, this is another challenge, or like one of the challenges mental health professionals they have to deal with in this part of the world. Like especially on how it's not convincing, but how to send the right message to people. And I always tell people the best thing that could happen to you is counseling. And for your friend, there is also Prophet Muhammad. There is a hadith about going and asking people istishara, like which is counseling.
Yes.
So, but I, like we cannot compare people understanding and people willingness and people attitudes toward counseling in this part of the world to people in the West,
Yes, yeah. There's a
because
massive difference. There's a massive difference.
yeah,
But
there
even
is a huge
people in the
difference.
West here, the South Asian Arab communities, I feel definitely, as I'm from Pakistani origin, I still feel that they, men would never, if I said, oh, I think that you should go for some counseling, couple therapy or something. No, they wouldn't accept it. They would never accept it. So how would you do that? Like, how would you persuade some, not persuade again, but like, how would you encourage then someone to do that?
Okay, as I said, like it's a tough role, but we need to team with like other like media channels, like the
Yes.
media, like people, and the country itself, um, uh, people who can really encourage and like empower people, which is the what is it? I forgot the name. 1 second. It's Ministry of Health,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, yes.
and the health system,
Yes.
like if you compare it again, because when we come as individuals and we are like clinical psychologists, we are mental health professionals, we
Yes.
can do like I am doing my best. I try to tell people even through my snap, the best thing you could do to yourself is go to counseling. What's the
Right.
point if you have everything in your life but you don't understand yourself inside?
Yeah.
I mean, it would make a huge difference if you just know that happiness can come from within. And then it's not an easy thing to do, but I try to be neutral also, because I don't want to force people to come, because the message when it comes from me, they might think I have something in it because I am
Yes.
a mental
Yes.
health professional.
You're
By
right.
but yes, but by leading and modeling and like showing people, and
Mm.
then the more like now we are working on a new website and we are putting more testimonial, and we are focusing on those who have positive like experiences with us. And we always, or I always do it when I have a chance on my social media. Honestly, Mariam, even I had a brother who died almost 2 years ago. And sometimes people they tell me, Dr. Amari, we feel sorry for you. You're always here listening to us, and but who listens to you? Who takes care of you? And I tell them, when I travel, I go to my colleagues and we sit and we talk. So
Yeah.
prior to his death, I went to Austria and I stayed 1 week with one of my colleagues, and I talked about the death of my brother, because he
Mm.
was sick, and we knew like he's gonna go. So counseling really, like we also benefit from it.
Yes,
Like
yes.
we
As
ourselves.
professionals, you also need it. You see the value, and you need someone else as well.
Yes, we
Mm,
need it, and we always try to tell people try it, and then again, if we get more help from the Ministry of Health, from
yeah,
other mental health professionals, from physicians, from doctors, hospitals, the communities,
that's
this
right.
is how
So
we
from the
can.
authority
Yeah,
itself, yes, actually from
yeah,
government, some kind of top down. Yeah,
yes, this is how we can
yeah,
convince. Like if I am talking in a lecture and convincing 100%, it's different than when I'm talking to the whole community.
yes, yes,
So yeah, that is one of the things that I think it would really make a difference, and like change this view people have about counseling, therapy, psychiatry. I
mm,
even tell people like sometimes medication. The majority of the people, they don't want medication.
yeah.
But then when my brother died, I had to take some antidepressant for a few months,
I
and
was
then
going
I
to actually
told
just
them,
say that in your situation, when you went to Austria and you had some time out and you want, to go through and kind of process your own feelings, how did that help? Like, what talk us through that kind of process, because that's your personal, experience. You know, what is it that you achieved by having your colleague? What is it that you kind of understood, or what is it that you were feeling at that time? So we can tell other people also that it's not just everybody has problems, and how you deal with them. So how did you deal with that with your colleague then?
yes. So we also experience the same things people go through,
Yeah.
like grief, sadness, but we have skills and we know what to do, and maybe we get out of it faster.
Yes.
So when by acknowledging my need to go for counseling, that was the main key for me to process and heal faster. By,
Yes.
like knowing, by having a full insight that I am gonna go through sadness, I'm gonna miss him, I'm gonna get angry, I'm gonna cry. So I knew,
Mm,
and because of that, I went to prepare myself,
yeah.
which is different than the average person who doesn't have the skills as a mental health professional. So when
Yeah.
I went there, it took 1 week, and it was not comprehensive. It was like I'm staying as a guest, but we talked about everything, and then you learn how to say goodbye, you learn how to accept, you learn that it's gonna be hard, and you get prepared. You know what I mean? You get prepared, and hopefully by getting prepared, you go through the process in a smoother manner.
Dr. Amari, how did you get into this field of work? Is it something that interested you? What made you get into this field? Because you said that you were interested in Sigmund Freud, but tell us how you started your journey in this area.
Yeah, you have to know something. Since I was a teenager, I noticed I was different than my sisters. I
Right.
always liked, yeah, and I liked to read about novels and English and this and that. And then I continued, like focusing and reading novels and this. And then when I was around 17 or 18, my father died,
Right. I'm
and
so
it was
sorry.
sudden death, and he died outside of the country, and we couldn't see him. So that was my first trauma that I had to go through,
Yes.
for which I was admitted in a hospital. And then in the hospital, unfortunately, um, they just give you medication and they sedate you because they don't want you to cry, right?
Right. Right.
And
And
then
where
I
was this?
remember,
Because
like,
you're actually from Saudi Arabia.
I'm half Saudi, half UAE.
Oh, okay, okay. So where was this then?
He
Was
died, yeah, he died abroad. So
okay.
and I was very close to him, and I really, like I was very like a special, one of the special ones.
Yeah,
So the family, like in any normal situations, the family, they get busy taking care of things, and then
that's
I
right.
think they said we need to admit her in a hospital. So in the hospital, I noticed, like, I wake up, and then the moment I realize where I am, and I want to grieve, and
Yeah.
I wake up and I was a teenager, And the moment I realize I'm here because my father died, then I start screaming and crying.
Mm.
And then when this happens, I remember, like clearly, like two nurses, they come quickly. I was in a very private upper class hospital,
Mm.
or private, there is no upper class hospital, private hospital. Uh, and then they would come running and give me injection.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And then they give me the injection and then they sedate me. And then I wake up again and the same process happens. I wake up, I scream, I want to cry. They kill my grief, they kill my pain, they kill my tears, you
Yeah.
know? So I stayed, I think, 15 days or something.
Wow.
And then, yes, they kept me for a long time because they thought. And then I wanted to get out, but then I said, okay, the only reason to get out, or maybe a week, I need to stop crying, right?
Right.
Because, like I know the
So you
consequences.
realize that the only way to get out of this place is to stop crying.
Yes, because I wanted to see my mom and my family.
Oh,
And
so you didn't see
then
anybody whilst you were in the hospital then, during that
no,
whole time?
the first 3 days I didn't, because I didn't, I remember when they brought my father in a private flight. They brought him, and then we entered to say goodbye, and then each one of us was injected and with a medication.
Mm.
It was really wrong. It was really wrong. There was a family doctor in the home. Like each one of us went to say goodbye, and then they injected you so you can relax. So anyway, when I was in the hospital, I said I need to get out,
Yeah.
and then I went out, and then before leaving, I remember I was on a wheelchair because they put you in a wheelchair, and I told the doctor what happened. He was a psychiatrist, right? And I told him what happened. Where is my father? I was
Mm.
young. Where is he? What is
Yeah.
going on? Is he coming back? I had all these questions, and I remember he was an Egyptian doctor. He kept saying, "Don't worry, you will be fine. Goodbye." That's it.
Mm.
He did not spend 5 minutes talking with me about my pain.
Yes.
And yes,
Just
and then I
totally
went home.
dismissed it. Just totally wanted
Yeah,
to. Yeah.
it was a private hospital. It was all about the money, how many days you're gonna stay, how much money they're gonna make out of you. So as if
Right.
he ignored my whole grieving
Yeah.
process. It's like it doesn't exist. He
Mm.
medicated me, he discharged me, and I left with a bigger question. And I remember spending times in his bedroom, keeping his clothes, asking, because that was my first experience with death.
The death.
It
Yeah.
was my father. He
Mm.
had a heart attack, sudden death. He was not sick or anything. After that, I completed my education, and I studied psychology and foreign languages.
Right. Right.
And then when I had my minor was in psychology, or I had psychology courses,
Yeah.
I had this question like,
Yes.
is
You
this what
wanted
happened when
answers
people
to the
die?
questions. Yeah.
Yes. And I became a very angry person. And I
Mm.
learned later the medication affected my central nervous system. We
Right.
all have a nervous system.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and when you are medicated, it affects it. And then all this anger was inside. And I
Right.
was a very angry teenager. I used
Mm.
to always be angry, hate people when they have fathers, not hate them, but I don't want to hear the word father, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
something bad happened to me. And so anyway, I was, like my psychological status was messed up. And then I got a chance to go to the US.
Right.
Then in the US, like I also wanted to study more about psychology.
Yeah.
And then, in the US, they give you a chance to talk. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they will talk about where you come from and what is the saddest things you ever went through. And
Yeah.
I said, so because how I was treated when my father died. And
Yeah.
then I started studying abnormal psychology, like feminist approach to psychology. And I made all A's. My GPA was 4.0. I was on the dean's list.
Wow. That's
Yes,
fantastic.
yes,
Fantastic.
because I had all these questions. So when I studied, and developmental psychology, when I studied how we are created from the moment you are inside your mother's womb, she can hear
Yes,
you.
yes,
And you
exactly.
are, yes, and you are somebody since you are inside. And then I understood about grieving, about sadness, about the feelings, about your emotions. And I
Hmm.
wanted to unblock all these emotions that the doctors, or like the that was blocked
Yeah, so
then.
lots of
And
curiosity
then,
there that made you just
yeah.
push further and get and find the answers. That's amazing. And then so soon after you came, after completing your education, then you came back to the UAE?
After
Or
I
did you
finished
spend
my
some time there practicing in the
yes,
States?
I did in the US. They give you practicum, which is
Yeah.
seeing people, because again, I wanted to be really honestly, Mariam. I remember one day, like before the graduation, they ask you, and I told them I want to be there to make a difference, because I remember the name of the doctor, but I cannot say his name. He's still alive.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for the chance to see him. And I said, I want to be able to make a difference. And I do
Oh.
not forgive the doctor who made me live with this pain
Mm.
all these years. All these years I lived with this pain. He didn't talk to me. He didn't listen to me. My family are not qualified, but he
Yeah.
was qualified.
Right, right. Okay, okay, yes.
So that was the reason I wanted to do opposite of what he didn't.
Mm.
I wanted to help as much as possible. I wanted to tell people, when you are sad, it's okay. It's part of life. When you are
Yeah.
sad, it's, like, because you are grieving, you are in pain, but you
Yes.
can get out of it. You need to do this, you need to do that. You take medication for 1, 2 months, but then again, you're going to get out of it stronger. All these things, I did not hear it from the psychiatrist.
Yes.
And knowing myself, I am a fighter. And then I said, I'm going to have answers for myself, for my family. And it did help me with my mom before she died, because she developed lymphoma.
Mm.
And
So sorry.
yes, and like, it really, really, Mariam, if I want to send a message to anybody, sometimes I say, maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put me in this experience to make me learn about counseling and psychology.
I
I wouldn't
absolutely
be the
agree.
person.
I think this is your vocation. I think Allah actually gave you that experience from a very young age for you to develop those skills and then to help. I completely, now I've heard your story, it's absolutely remarkable.
Yeah,
And I think, whenever I interview any CEO, leader, or professional in their field, it you know they their pain always is the reason why they started the work in the first place. There's always some trigger or pain point that makes them develop where they are, or and the reason why they do the work that they do. I also lost my father in my kind of 20s, but and in the same way,
I'm sorry.
understanding life, and it hits you, when you've experienced death at an early age, and you don't have that support system, and like you said, some people don't understand, they don't know what to say.
Yeah,
I guess that it makes you grow up and it makes you ask those questions, exactly how to be in this world. What is it that people think? And understanding ourselves, I always say when I'm styling, is know thyself. Until you don't know who you are, you're not going to be able to achieve what you set out to. You can't help anybody else until you understand your own self. And that could be from a style
exactly.
point of view, from an inner style point of view, to understand what is in your mind, where you want to go. If I'm styling somebody, it's like, okay, you want this look, but what is it that you want to achieve? What are we dressing you for? What is the end goal? And it's a long term. I'm
Mm,
not just styling you for something. So to
yeah,
understand in the same way your inner self, isn't it? It's all about inner style, how we have to understand and recognize all the emotions that we're feeling, and not to deny them. Don't deny these feelings that you have, and to really kind of, I guess, really get in tune with yourself, right? Really understand who you are and sit with those feelings. Um, so, I think something that you've actually just said now is it's all about communication, isn't it? I think
yeah,
communication is such a, a skill that we need to learn. Asking good questions, it gives us good answers. If you ask a
Mm-hmm.
bad question, it's going to give you a bad answer. If you think like with this
Mm-hmm.
corona, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to live? What am I going to get? Financially, I know people are really, struggling. Health-wise, people are struggling. But I guess when you ask, quality questions, you're gonna get quality answers. So communication is absolutely key, and I think communicating with your family, communicating with your spouse, I think it's such a key skill. How can we develop communication in your sense? Can you give us some pointers on how we can develop the skill for communication?
You mean as individuals
Yes, as
in our
individuals. Yes.
family?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, like if you know that you have a problem communicating, if you can identify and acknowledge what is it that you need to work
Because a
on.
lot of people, what they do is they feel something, but they'll hold it inside, and then all of a sudden it'll simmer and it will sit, and then all of a sudden you have a situation where with your conversation where they'll just volcano, and that reaction is not the reaction from that conversation. It could be something from months, even years back, right? It can be related to that. So how do we develop someone who can starting to talk freely, or start to communicate a little bit more? Why is it that people don't communicate? Why is it that they don't say what they feel?
To answer your question, part of it, and I'm talking about us,
Yeah.
because we were taught how to communicate, and we probably did not see good role models, or like
Yeah.
people in front of us do it, and sometimes we are programmed inside our families to copy and like follow the same behaviors
Yes.
we saw in the family, and that is one of the main issues we have. It's either we were not taught, we're modeling something not healthy,
Yes. Yes.
like, or maybe we are brought up in an environment where you should not talk, you should not express your
Yes.
feelings, especially females.
Females,
And
exactly. Females not
yes,
allowed to say anything. You can't argue anything. This is the way it is. This is the way it's done. That's it.
yes, and this by itself, it kills any talent you have
Yeah.
or any desire you have to express yourself, because the message you are getting from basically we get from our family, our parents, our siblings, our
Yeah.
the family around us. We gonna generalize it and then use it, like with everybody. If I cannot communicate within the small environment, the small
Yes.
community, my family, I
Yes.
will not develop the skills to do it with the outsiders. So
Yes.
if I am getting this message, or I'm not getting the skill, or I'm not being taught how to do it, then how am I going to do it?
Yes.
I'm not going
Yes.
to be able to do it. So for that, we always tell people you need to seek help. And then normally what we do, like for myself, when people have communication issues, we model it in a session, and then I
Right.
pay attention to what you say, how you say it, and timing, and the tone of voice.
Yes.
So these things you need to train, but you need to go to someone special who will see when you are ready to communicate. For example, when somebody comes to me, we don't do it. For my style in doing the counseling and psychoanalysis, I sit with the person, I try to connect, I try to understand them, and then only see from where I can approach.
Yes.
Yeah, especially if the person coming to me and they are already with low self-esteem, with distorted ideas about counseling, about themselves, I need to
Mm.
empower the person and then see what is it, like you need to work on. So for communication again, and I always tell people, for myself, and I don't want to sound like ignorant for my own culture, but honestly, I taught a lot from most of my professors
Yeah.
in college, and I learned from educated people. I did not learn from the average American person. I learned from those who really worked on themselves.
Yes, yes,
And
exactly.
those I could trust and I trusted. And they led me to the way to where I am today. So you have to go to an expert. You need to identify what it is that you need to work on, and only then you will learn to develop what you need to develop.
What's the best advice that you've been given in your life by a friend or family member? What is the best practical advice that you've been given and it always sticks in your head?
To be honest yourself. You have to be
Yeah.
honest yourself. You have
Mm.
to make peace with yourself. Because
Yeah.
if you're not honest with yourself, you will never work on your issues and your problems. You will deny it.
Yes.
And if you don't seek peace with yourself, you will struggle longer in life.
Yes.
You will not forgive. You will be stuck somewhere.
Yes.
And
Yes.
in order for us, like to develop professionally, because honestly speaking, like sometimes when like I owe it to Professor Linda, I owe it to Professor Leslie, I owe it to a lot of professors in my college,
Yeah.
because like they really take you. And I have to tell you, when I went to America, I went to two psychology program. One was psychology, one was clinical psychology. One is higher,
Right.
and it was very competitive. And
Right.
they make interview for 200 and they select 20 only.
Wow.
20.
Wow.
So we were like, I remember that they were in the hall outside, and I was saying to myself, like back then, my ego and my self-esteem was not as good as now.
Yes.
Or anybody in my situation going
Mm.
to any job interview, you will always have
Yeah.
doubt. And I was thinking, why would they take a person with hijab? I just came from, like the Middle East. Why would they take me? But then again, like if I want something, I have, and it really means something to me. I'll fight for it. So when
Yes.
we went into the interview, they ask you, and as you said, they see how much pain you have and how much you are honest with yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
based on that, they say she can be a good psychologist. He
Yes.
can be. No, they cannot be. They are spoiled. They are just here because of the name, because,
Yeah.
So this is, I think I had it from my mom, rahmatullah alayha. And again, I always tell people, you have to be honest to yourself. You
Yes.
have
Yeah.
to forgive yourself. You have to know what you want. And you have
Yeah.
to know your limitations and accept it. Only
Yeah.
then you will see and you will flourish. So that is the best advice I always tell people. Always in tough times, just think you're different, you're
Yeah.
distinguished, you're
Yes.
special. By saying and focusing on that, you will be helped to get going. This is my advice to people, to trust in yourself and to make peace.
Yeah, isn't I have this love affair with words and conversations and having vulnerable conversations, and I feel that I was studying Gary V last year, and I came to a conference in Dubai, and I always mention him, and he said that we need to change the conversation, from the world that we live in this Instagram world where it's all about showing off and what we have and what we where we're going and the places we're eating. And this year seems to be so poignant, it seems to be so core that we have changed the conversations, we've gone internal, we're looking at conversations and we're having vulnerable open conversations about, I'm feeling this way, okay, and we're allowed to feel. And I think COVID has allowed us to feel these feelings and express them as well. So if you're not having a good day, so the last 2 weeks, I've had so many of my friends that have broken down, that have been messaging me and called me and said, look, I'm not doing too well. And then we've had
Mm,
this turn, this round two of COVID. But you know what I love, and I've always been quite open-hearted with it anyway, but so I've always done this, but I love the fact that this year has been such a change of conversations. It's a change
mm,
of how we are thinking, and we can really go internal. And when someone says, actually, I'm not feeling good about the situation, or I don't think this is working out, I want to change my job or want to change my relationship, and it's so powerful. I just feel that it's going to elevate so many people, isn't it? I'm so excited by the powerful conversations, not just vulnerable, but being vulnerable and then going to kind of being powerful. I just think it's amazing. So for those people who are having difficult conversations, maybe ending relationships, going through heartbreak, and really trying to kind of understand their relationship so they can exit into this next 2021 with some positivity and some excitement, what would you suggest to them who are ending a chapter in their life and then wanting to move forward? What is the best advice that you would give to them?
You mean for those who chose not to continue in a certain
Yes,
relationship?
yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay, for those people, I say such decision by itself is a success.
Mm,
If you acknowledge, if you identify the relationship where you're at is
yeah.
not a healthy relationship, is not going anywhere, it doesn't make you happy, it's
Yes.
toxic, and
Yeah.
it's draining you, and you are spending financially, emotionally, psychologically, and this relationship is draining you, then
Mm,
you should be thankful to the chance that and to the timings. I mean, think about what would have happened if you were not giving this opportunity by facing this relationship and spending the rest of your life in a very meaningless relationship.
yes.
So if you are referring to those people who are in a very what we call unhealthy relationship, then exiting the relationship by itself is a success, is a victory.
Ah,
Yeah.
excellent. Mm,
Yes, because staying in a relationship where you are not happy, you are not making other people
yes.
happy, and you are, and life is really, this is what we always say, life is too short and you only live one time.
Yes.
And do not compromise, do not settle for something less than what you deserve.
Yes.
And
Absolutely. I was
but
reading
again, you
something.
need,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was saying that, when you come to that point in time where you start to value yourself, and that is the time that you start to value your time and where you put your energy and who you're focusing on. So it comes back. We totally agree in this point 100%. It's really going back to kind of knowing yourself again, and then accepting yourself and knowing who you are. And until that happens, you don't value your life, and then you don't value your time, you don't value what you're doing. So I think it comes back to kind of that
Exactly.
self-acceptance, self-love. And I think self-love has been one of these words that have been thrown around this year too much, but where you're really kind of valuing yourself, I think it all stems from that. Everything stems from you. You are the creator, and the artist. Go back to the artist of of
Yes.
your world, isn't it? So
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
I was
True.
just saying that once you start valuing yourself, then your whole perceptions change, relationships change, work changes, how you feel, and I think there's an energy shift in that.
Yes, true. And exiting unhealthy relationship, it doesn't have to be by divorce,
Yeah.
or by separation. Sometimes we tell couples, if you've been always spending your years fighting, exit this thing.
Yes.
Try to work on your differences. Exit the bad behavior,
Ah,
and just, yes, exit the bad behavior, leave it behind. So
yes.
it doesn't have to mean necessarily divorce or separation. It could just, say, only that's it, stop here. You need to, face it and work on it and make things better,
Yeah.
instead
Yeah.
of, going around, I mean, in rounds and doing the same things. You
Yes.
have a choice of saying, enough is enough. I'm gonna give it a break. I'm gonna just do the right thing. And this
Yes.
person doesn't deserve this from me, or I do not deserve. We deserve to enjoy the family, enjoy the kids, enjoy the life. This is what is meant by exiting. It can carry two meanings: exiting totally the relationship, or exiting the the sick or the bad, the ill behavior.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, because people are so dismissive these days, and with divorce rate going, skyrocketing. The
Mm,
fact is, it sometimes you get shamed for actually
unfortunately.
staying in a relationship than actually wanting to make it work. So it's like, well, why did you stay? This isn't right. But I actually find that so many people find that as these days that's the easiest option, whereas working on yourself, working on a relationship, obviously you came together for a certain reason. People do drift apart, but having working on a relationship sometimes takes more effort than just, like you said, like to end it. So if you value your relationship, if you value the people in it, then you would make it work. um who is an
Yes,
inspiration?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And during Corona, like as I said before, we were having problems and issues. And with Corona, we had like other serious issues. Like if we are talking about couples and those who were they lost their job, there is
Yeah.
financial stress, they are isolated from their family, they are all the way here and they don't have social support,
Yes.
and they have problems in the marriage. I mean, imagine the how overwhelming it can be.
Of
The
course, of
lockdown is
course.
going to be extremely, yes, overwhelming. So these things we need also to take into consideration when couples they are struggling during COVID-19. We need to know what other stress they have.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
for those, believe it, some people like will get out of it stronger, and some people like will just collapse. Those
Yeah.
who are less fortunate, like who have more stress financially, emotionally, psychologically,
Yes.
like physically or health wise. So these are like the type of stresses that Corona added on the
Yes.
existing
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
existing one.
It's a testimony to, I guess, your character as well, and how you deal with life. This is just
Yeah,
one part, and I think it, some people who are very much, we're social creatures anyway, but I have found that a lot of people that I knew that were very sociable and very, very extroverts, in this
yeah.
lockdown and this time have really become quite introvert and silenced themselves, because they've had to look at their life of the meaning of it. Like, is it this what I want to do? Is this where I belong? And I think that you wouldn't have these questions that you would ask yourself if this wouldn't have happened. So for me, absolutely kind of embrace the change again. If we look at change, I always say that
Yeah.
people are so fixed on their own, the way that life is. This is how it is. This is how I belong. This is what I do. And my father used to say to me, you've got to be adaptable in life. That's one quality
Mm.
that because life will always change. What advice
Yeah,
would you give on
true.
somebody regarding kind of having such a fixed mindset? How would you what advice would you like to give to them regarding embracing change? And embracing change for the future as well.
This takes me back to what I said before. If you really, I was hoping that Corona would give the majority of us the chance to sit and face ourselves. You know what I mean? Like by
Mhm.
sitting and saying,
Yes.
where am I now? What am I? Why I am doing this?
Yeah.
Corona came and and I'm told that like life will end one
Mm,
way or another. How do I want to end it? And
mm,
how do I want from now until my time comes? Should I continue doing the same silly things, or can I improve?
mm.
Was I enjoying my life, or no, I was just living? And there is a difference
Yes.
between enjoying or just like breathing and walking and eating,
Yes.
like or taking things for granted. So what I am hoping, like, which is something for us as mental health professionals, we do from time to time, which is like sitting, meditating, sitting by
Yeah.
yourself,
So yeah, I was gonna say, what do you
understanding.
do to help yourself? Is that what you
Yeah.
do? Meditate?
I meditate, I do yoga, I exercise, I love the me time. I
Yeah.
have to have my space
Yeah.
because you have to understand, like, my profession is extremely stressful. I am like receiving all the negative
Yes.
news, the fights, the conflicts from people. And if I
Yes.
am not careful and if I don't have a healthy way of filtering and getting rid of these things, I will get sick myself.
Yeah.
So for myself, it's like finding peaceful time,
Yeah.
reconnecting with
Right.
myself and with the things
Yes.
that make meaning to me. Like sometimes some of my friends and my family, like the best time for me to go to the movie alone. They don't
Yeah.
believe it.
Oh, okay.
I say
That's
why? I say
nice.
no. One is I say I don't want anybody with me, and sometimes I really enjoy it. Like when the movie is playing, I let it play, and then I go in the middle of the week when nobody is there,
Oh,
and then
wow. Wonderful.
I swear, and then it's the whole space for me, and I'm just sitting because I'm always surrounded. My background is always noisy,
Yeah.
always noisy. So that's why, like I
Yeah.
have to take care of myself. And again,
I
counseling
just wanted to
because
say that when you just said, I've had people who, so a friend of mine she's gone on holiday by herself, and I was just telling another friend that she's gone to Greece and she's having a fantastic time. She's a solo traveler, and the other person said, "Oh, how could you travel on her own? That's so strange. Like, what?" I said, "Why can she not travel on her own? Because she's a woman, or why does she need company?" And what you've just said as well, people are so
she's a
afraid
strong
of
woman.
being on their
She's
own.
a very strong woman. When you are capable of living and facing life alone, you are a strong woman.
Yes, yes,
You
absolutely.
are
And
a very strong woman. It means you can handle pressure. You can handle things alone.
yeah, yeah. I said,
True, by the way,
I mean,
which
when
is
you
true.
just,
We
the fact is that people just don't want to be on their own, and either traveling or, like you said, just going to the cinema by yourself. There's so many people that I
yeah.
know that would say, "Oh my God, I don't want to do that." Like that, no, I would want to
Mhm.
go with somebody, and then you think, well, it's those people have suffered. My hair's going all crazy. It's those people that have suffered that just don't want to sit by themselves, or don't want to look at themselves, or don't even love them. I feel like that they don't even love themselves.
Well, let's not say they don't, or maybe they don't know how to love
They
themselves.
don't know
And
how
then
to. Yeah,
again,
yeah,
for myself, because my background always noisy, and then the best time for me when I am in the airplane and my phones are off, I
uh
am far away from everybody, or when I don't go out in the weekends because it's
right.
crowded, service is not as expected, and I
Yeah,
always ask, when is the movie? And then I only choose. I pick and choose. I don't go to watch any movie because I'm very busy. So I
yeah,
always go like Sunday or Monday. If I don't have a case, then I go to see a movie I wanted to see. And it's a joy. It's
yes,
a joy. You don't have to answer anybody. You don't have to make sure are they happy. You just take care of yourself, of Mariam, which
yeah.
is something you learn to love. It's a
That's
process.
amazing. Yeah,
It's a
that's
process. Yeah.
amazing. I mean, I think traveling itself, watching a great movie, just kind of escapism, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
so nice and so relaxing. And I think I don't live far from Heathrow. I live like right, about 15 minutes away from Heathrow. And I am just dying to get on a plane and then just travel somewhere.
Mm.
I'm just like, but such is life. We're on
Yeah.
lockdown. We can't go anywhere. But you know, life will present so many challenges. Every day is a challenge. You've got to find solutions. You've got to be happy. You've got to really find, like, I'm solar powered. Today is a beautiful day. I'm going to go out for a walk afterwards. But having small little happiness moments, creates that joy in yourself. um, and I have found, back to the point, that a very valid point, that we are surrounded by people who we model, or who we kind of reflect, because we subconsciously we do that. And I also have been brought up by extremely powerful, strong women. My mother's side, 8 sisters who are all well educated,
Mashallah,
strong minded,
mashallah.
mashallah, my granddad brought them up like, like sons, like, like real, owning your mind and your thoughts. Education was at the forefront. And so I find an inspiration from them. I always, from
Mm,
my aunties and my cousins. One's gone back to education after having all the kids, and she's like 40 something, nearly 50, I think. I don't know really her age, but she's gone back to education again, and studying architecture. And so, there's
wow.
always, you can always do something at any time. You can't, the whole giving up is not an option. Which is your source of
Yeah.
of your inspiration? Where did that come from? As a woman, any female that's inspired you through your journey?
I would say my mom, my mother.
Yeah.
My mom, she had a very my mom, I got it from my mom, and I always,
Yeah.
another person, who, Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Woman.
Ah,
Uh, since I was young, yeah, I always wanted to know why they call this lady the Iron Woman.
yes, yes,
Yes, I like to get inspired, like, and read about special people. Our mothers, the life they went through was not as easy.
yes, yes,
And then the
absolutely.
fact that, yes, the fact that she made sure that we all go to the college, we are all educated,
Yes.
and we have manners. We should not do this, we should not do that. She always wanted
Mm,
to us to be like little ladies, you know and she was not educated, and she was religious. So that's
yeah,
why, like, a mix of me, like modern, but I also care about my religious background. So I
yeah,
would say my mom, also the Iron Woman, sometimes Oprah Winfrey,
yes,
and there is
amazing.
Madame Korea, and those people, like, who make differences. Any
Yes,
person who make difference, like, those are really worth looking up to. you know
yeah.
and I myself, now I have my nieces, they say, auntie, we are so proud of you. Like,
Oh, mashallah.
yeah, and yeah, and they are doctors also, and then they say, we are so proud of you when we see that you do this and you do that, and like, you are a very strong woman, and you do things, you also inspire those who
Yes,
inspire
the
you.
next
Yeah, yeah,
generation, they've seen, because I, like you
exactly.
said, we need to see role models. We need to see strong women in all
Yes.
positions of life, in all fields, in all sectors, and conquering and achieving, and that creates change. So you're a great role model for, I guess, the next generation, for generations to
Inshallah.
come. Inshallah,
Yeah,
inshallah.
inshallah. And who also I like? Queen Elizabeth. You don't know how
Yes,
much I admire this lady.
yeah. One of my favorites. She lives down the corner because I'm
I
in Windsor.
swear, I love, I mean, this lady will never be replaced. And if you
Yes.
see about people who inspire me, they all have the same theme.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, it's Queen Elizabeth also.
Yeah. It's a combination of style and elegance and
Yes,
class, and just
yes,
the way that they
yes,
carry themselves, they're composed,
yes.
the way they communicate. Uh, you know, just there is a style. Everybody has a style in which they perform and communicate, and it's so important. Good role
Yeah.
models for the future, inshallah. You
And they
must
are
find.
also like artists. They are
Yeah.
artists. As you
Mm.
said it, the way they dress, the way they sit, the way they
Yeah.
talk. This is
Yeah.
the art where you were asking me. This is the art of living. The art of
Yeah.
living is you know how to present what to do.
Yes.
And that's why sometimes you look at somebody like Lady Diana, rahmatullah, or I don't know, just Lady Diana. Some people, you look at them and you just feel like, wow,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
not just a beauty, it's an art.
Yes. Yes.
So, and and even when I go to places, I'm a very classical person. When I go to places, even if I see something that is really everybody, like, I'm not easily influenced by the social media.
Mm.
I never shop something from online.
Yeah.
And I only, if I see something and it really catches your opinion, and you know this is an art,
Yes, yeah,
So these are
absolutely.
the people, yeah, these are the people or the things that when you have, you want to leave behind, and you want people to, you want to be remembered
Yes, you want to be
for.
remembered and make your mark, create change, that you
Right.
came into this world and you did something valuable to help others. And that's ultimately what we need to do, is to help each other along the way, through the
Yeah,
podcast, through your work, through sending good messages and helping people to kind of live their best life in a way, as artists. And I believe if we all perceived life as art and as artists, I think we would completely change.
exactly. And this is what I tell my clients or my patients when they come. I tell them, I am just here to listen and to help you to enjoy at least one thing in your life.
Yes.
And that is a skill and art. Maybe you don't know it,
Yes.
because that is a thing. That is my talent.
Yeah.
That is what I think I want to be known, with and
Yeah.
for, just to point at something and say, wow, Mariam, look at this beautiful
Yeah.
background you have. Look at this beautiful picture. Look at this
Yeah.
beautiful mother. Look at this beautiful day. Look at this beautiful interview.
Exactly.
And then by
To see art,
saying this,
to
you will
see through
start.
beauty, isn't it? Is that exactly seeing,
Yes, yes,
with beautiful eyes? I
yes,
always say that beauty is all around us. We just have to open our eyes and ears to see it. We need to change the way
exactly.
that we see ourselves as well.
Exactly. And Corona, for the lucky ones, Corona, as for me, it just made me appreciate and look at the good things,
Yes.
and to take care of the things I was not even paying attention to, so this is what Corona should. Corona
Yeah.
came to add. It's good and bad, but it's supposed to show the art in your life, the
Yes.
beauty in your life.
The beauty in your life. Exactly. Exactly. So what do you have planned for the future? What kind of work would you be doing? Is there something that you, maybe in 5 years time, where do you see yourself?
My big wish is to have a mental health spa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I swear, this is my
That
dream.
sounds nice.
Huh?
That sounds nice. Dr. Amari, that
Really,
sounds
really,
really good.
I swear. This is my dream, so you can just, because it's when you go to talk
Yeah.
about what really has been piling up inside,
Yes.
you need to take care of the inside and then the outside.
Exactly, exactly.
And then
I
it
always say
complements
it's a
each other.
combination of both. You know, sorry, I had to cut you up, but it is a point where there's so much we can do to create a great image on the outside and our health, but it's always in the inside. It's a combination of both. You both have to be, the inner and outer has to be aligned.
Exactly. This is but the inner beauty is from inside. And I'm working on a book. I started my book, but then when my brother
Mashallah,
died, yeah,
fantastic. That's nice.
yeah, when he died, yeah, I put a hold on it. So if I wanna, maybe five years from now, I will not be doing what I'm doing now. Maybe
Yeah,
only I'll just pick and choose a few cases,
yeah.
but I wanna enjoy my life. I wanna, see. I wanna. I wanna give what I'm doing to somebody else to continue.
Right, right.
you
So
know
continue the
I
work. Yeah,
yes, yes, I wish that somebody will just come and take over,
mm,
because I know that you need to time yourself, and then I want to be able to enjoy. I want to put an end to this noisy background of listening to people's problems and pain, because it can be really unhealthy, and it can be also uh, uh, يعني, it's something you want to get as far as possible sometimes from,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
Like sometimes when I travel, you need to hear my clients or my patient, they say, oh no, doctor, are you going? No, for how long are you going to go? Are you sure? What are we going to do? And then they become
Yeah,
like
yeah,
me, but they just become like really. And then
yeah.
you feel like a mother. You want a child to grow up and
Yes.
become independent,
Yeah. An
and then
adult. Yeah.
enjoy. Yeah,
Independent. Yeah.
this is my hope. My hope to have something good and meaningful, to leave something behind me, to finish
Yes.
my books, and to live in peace, and to appreciate life with its good and bad.
I'm looking forward to the spa. I'm loving that idea. You need to start that as soon as possible. So when I come to Dubai next time, it should be very. I love the idea, Dr. Amari. You need to start that straight away. Just love the
Inshallah,
sound of it. Inshallah,
if we
inshallah.
have the financial, like, and the patience and the vision, somebody needs to share my vision, because
Yeah,
this is what people really need. And
yeah,
inshallah, it should happen. I was working on a TV program,
yeah.
but Corona came, because I used to come in morning shows, but then I thought about making my own show. You know Dr. Phil, right?
Yes, yes. I was gonna say. I was just about to say, like it. I don't know, combination of like Elania Van Zandt, who also came. I don't know if you know her. She appeared on Oprah quite a lot, and then Dr. Phil.
What is
There's
she? What is her name?
pardon?
What is her name?
Elania Van Zandt, and she does a lot of more spiritual counseling,
Oh,
and she was one
no,
of
I
the
don't know.
regular kind of guests and speakers for the Oprah show.
Yeah,
But there's lots of other kind of. There's another therapist here called Marissa Peer. She's fantastic as well. I don't know if you've heard of her.
yeah.
She
Send me
works
the
with a
link.
lot of
Send me the
celebrities.
links later.
Yeah, she
Send me
works
the
with a
link.
lot of celebrities, and she's amazing. I've been studying her and her book right now. I'm actually reading that book right now, I Am Enough. So she's got some great practices, and where she also says that I want my clients to be independent and just
Yeah,
not to be
you wanna
continually.
you wanna graduate them. You want them to
Yeah,
graduate and get attached to you.
graduate is the right word. Yeah, graduate.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, send me later the links. I would love to know about them. But I wanted to make a show like Dr. Feld, but the problem in this community, people are not willing to speak up or show their faces. And then we found a
Yeah,
way,
that's
and then
yeah.
yeah, Corona came.
Mm.
But inshallah, if the we
I
see,
think that you will the instigator of change, and I think that, and I believe, not even think, I believe that you're gonna do it. I think that you're
Ya
gonna have
Rab,
a fantastic
inshallah.
show, inshallah, and I can see it doing great because something can help others from your conversations, and I hope that this conversation really helps others as well. For me, I think that you're the most probably glamorous and beautiful counselor therapist that I've seen.
Thank you.
Mashallah, such a joy.
I exercise and I do yoga, and I don't do namima, ya Maryam. I don't like namima. I don't like, really. You need to take care of the small qualities.
Yes, yes,
And
absolutely.
I don't spend my time on social media a lot. Now I'm gonna be a social media person, because they say
Yeah,
this is how to make marketing. But exercise, yoga, sleep,
yeah,
and peace, because even with that you're going to have issues and problems in your life, but at
yeah,
least you will have a good balance. Thank you,
yeah,
Habibti. Thank you. And
yeah.
you're also, mashallah, you are so beautiful. I saw your video about the back, and you are absolutely right. It's a good investment.
I've
But you
got
know
you.
what happened?
I've got you.
Yeah,
You know what? Isn't it great? Like great conversations lead to change and creativity. And for me, I think creativity is my core.
yeah,
For me to help others and supporting women. That's my main aim, and I've always done it to help women on the outside to look good so they can help others,
yeah.
and it filters in the rest of their life with style. So what advice would you like to leave the people listening? What is it that maybe for next year, and how to enter, or and how to be? Is there any advice that you'd like to leave them with?
A very good question. For Since our topic about relationship, and then my main advice to people in general, and to couples, to family members, as a family therapist, like, try to be accessible. Like, people, they can uh, don't be like so closed on yourself. Try to be accessible. Try
Right.
to respond when somebody tells you we have a problem. Try to listen. Let
Mhm.
them know that you are there discuss and help. Try to engage emotionally with your loved ones.
Right.
Try to break the unhealthy routine. Ask for help. Try to go out for change of scenery, for a fresh air. Try to keep social support. Try to work on yourself, to empower, to improve, to change bad habits.
Yes.
Try to exit and make, reconcile with things that you did and you couldn't undo. Try to reconcile with your limitations. Try to understand who you are and what the things you could do. Try to love and be loved, and try to love yourself, and try to accept whoever you are. And only by doing those things, only then you will be able to engage and build relationships with others, let it be a brother, a sister, a husband, a co-worker. Try to understand that we are here for a reason. We are not here to constantly fight or constantly live unhappy. There
Yes.
are a reason that we need to be happy and unhappy. Try to seek help. Honestly, if you don't know how to do these things, my advice, try to seek help. Go to somebody who will take your hand and lead you and show you how you can enjoy a small cup of tea, a peace, relationship. Try to
Yes. The
really,
small things in life. Yes.
yes, and try not to change each other. Try to accept
Hmm.
little things, because we all have good and bad. Try to work on the good ones so you will not think about the bad ones. Try to be human and try to understand Corona came with a very big message to all of us, that life is too short and death is coming to all of us. But before your day comes, try to enjoy life, try to do the right thing, and try to live happy. And the rest, just, deal with it one day at a time. When it comes, then, if by doing all these things, you will become a stronger person. You will know how to address your issues and your problems, and you will be stronger. Any tough experience, if we survive Corona, which is really, really a big thing to us, we can survive anything
Yes.
between us human beings. So just
Absolutely.
try to see what is the main message Corona is sending to all of us. And if there is
Yes.
a second lockdown, then maybe we didn't get the message in the first lockdown. Corona is giving you a second chance.
Second chance.
And
Yes. So don't look at this as a
yes,
second phase. Look at it as a
yeah,
second
the
chance.
second chance. Some people they didn't get, but you are too lucky that you are getting a second chance.
Yes. Yeah. Actually be happy that you're going through a second round. That's
And
an
you're healthy.
amazing way to look at it. Thank you so
You're,
much, my lovely. Thank you,
you're
Dr.
welcome.
Amari. I loved the
You're
insight
welcome.
and I loved the personal story that you have to help others and your vision. Inshallah, I wish you all the success in the future, and for those who are looking to seek a little bit more about themselves and understand themselves, I would definitely recommend you, and kind of I'll post all the details of your
Thank you.
contacts. But I wish you all the best. I can't wait to see you when I'm in Dubai, or when you're here
Yes,
in London. I'll
inshallah.
take you to Windsor.
Oh my
The
God,
Queen
yeah,
is
I
just
heard
next
it.
to me, Dr. Amari. She's like, what, 5 minutes away?
I swear, she's such a,
We'll have tea with
she
the
doesn't
Queen.
know. Yeah, you're lucky. At least you are being empowered by the surroundings
Yeah,
and
and I
the big
guess some people don't, though. Some people don't venture out, but I have made a conscious effort that I'm going out for a walk every day, getting some fresh air, no matter if
Yes,
it's raining or not. It's a beautiful day, sunny today, so I'm going to go out after our interview. But thank you so much. I look forward
you're
to seeing
welcome.
you, and inshallah, wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you. Same here, Maryam. MashaAllah, you're such a beautiful woman, full of life and beauty. I thank Asma, who told me about you.
Yes.
And like when she said, "Oh my God, you will be so excited," and mashallah, mashallah, I see you sometimes. You respond quickly, and I say, "Wow!" But you are not. Maybe sometimes I cannot have this. Luxury, and
Yeah.
if it was up to me, I want to be, I like decor, I like fashion, I like
Yeah.
to do things, but then I am in the right career, But then for you, I think you are doing a lot, a lot. At least you are sharing beautiful details with people, because really you opened my eyes. Like, I'm now looking at my bags and I see these are investments.
Isn't that great?
I've never looked at it this way, I swear.
Thank you so much for joining us. I
Thank
absolutely
you.
loved your story, and it was, and the
Thank
way that
you.
you connect with your patients. And now I understand how amazing and why people come to you, because a complete change maker in your thinking and your own experience. And I wish you
Thank
all the
you so much.
success in the future, inshallah. And I look forward to seeing you in Dubai.
Same here. All the
Take care,
best
you
to
my
you, my
lovely.
dear. All the
Take
best.
care. All right.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Bye bye.